Hello, my little lovebirds. TonyaTko here, and today is day 12 of my bald head. If you look at the video that I did before this one, I uploaded before this one, you'll see I give you a full roundabout of my head, etc. And so you can take a look at that, and I talk about some of the things related to that. I did want to speak about something that was weighing very heavily on my heart. I have neck ache, I have neck pain today, so I won't be as animated as normal. But I wanted to make this video because this was on my heart today, and I wanted to get it out. I don't have much time to make the video, so let's just jump right into it. I went to DC over the weekend for the inauguration and the inauguration balls and activities, etc. And when I was there, in the last video I talked about the decreased number of men who now find me attractive with my bald head, and I'm very happy with that because the quality of man has increased tremendously. It's like the breadth versus width, or depth versus width rather. I would rather have the depth of man be more substantial than the width of the amount of men. So here we go. When I was in DC, I met a lot of different people. I actually, you know what? I actually met this really nice guy who is Islamic, or Muslim rather, and we had a really great conversation, and he was really cool people. I'm going to introduce you guys to him. I'm going to interview him for you guys. Very handsome man, etc. And I think because he is Muslim that he's used to, I don't want to say judging a woman by more than just her external appearance. Maybe I can say that. So the conversation that we had was a really cool conversation. You know, we talked about travel, we talked about Islam, we talked about the Middle East, we talked about Egypt, we talked about the pyramids, we talked about a lot. This was at a club too. How did we get to this conversation at a club? I don't know. But he was a really cool person. He's a doctor, very handsome. I can't wait for you guys to meet him. I told him I want to interview him, so we're going to be talking about that later this week. But this made me start thinking, because you guys know that I traveled for the greater part of 2007, and I traveled all throughout the Middle East. If you guys see my epic year of travel video, just search epic year of travel and the word TonyaTko, and you'll find my video and you'll see the countries that I visited. It was a beautiful thing. And when I was in the Middle East, I did wear an abaya, and well, sometimes, depends on where I was, I wore an abaya or a hijab, you know, mainly to fit in. It felt right. You know, it felt, I don't know how to put it, modest. I really, you know what, it wasn't anything that was imposed upon me because I did not have to, but I felt covered, and I felt adored, and I just, you know what, and I felt, when I came back, I did a live video, I did a live show for you guys. And in the live show, I asked some of you ladies, listen, if you couldn't show your fancy hairstyle and, you know, some pretty clothing or whatnot, what would you do to get the attention of a man? And that's what this video today is about. I don't know where it's going to go because I don't have notes. I'm just talking from my heart today. When I was in DC, now after, because the Dr. Muslim dude, he was going off to a ball of his own, so I went and I hung out with some other people, and we were at this rooftop. And you know, I'm going to give very explicit details, and I'm sorry if I offend, you know, any of the people that I hung out with, but this is something that I feel that I need to speak on, and it troubled me that evening, and I'm going to share this with other women, and I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I do feel that this needs to be spoken about because I think that this is an epidemic, nationwide problem. So we're at this rooftop, and we're all like in this oval around like this bar table thing, and we're all talking. And so we kind of like broke off into two different groups, where there were some guys and girls talking right there, and you know, I was talking with some guys and girls right here. There was this one girl who was right next to me, and so they were having a conversation that I could not really hear. You know, I mean, we were in our own conversation talking about a lot of different really deep topics, right? I don't know why we were talking. I mean, you get people together, they start talking deep, depending on who the people are. But anyway, so I heard one of the guys, the guy who was talking to the girl over here, he asked, well, I don't know what it was that they were talking about. I think they were talking about how to keep a man, how to impress a man. I don't know. But basically, the guy asked, and then, this whole brunt of the burden of a woman keeping a man thing is a whole other issue that needs to be addressed. So much so that if a relationship doesn't, like, women work really hard to keep dead and bad relationships going just so they're not labeled as somebody who can't, quote unquote, keep a man. And some of these people don't really, they need to be tossed back out into the sea. Ugh. So anyway, listen. So let me just put some vitamin E on my lips. All right. This is my TKO skin vitamin E. I don't know why I have these rubber bands on me. I don't have any hair anymore. This is my vitamin E. This is what keeps my face young and without wrinkles, and heals my scars quickly. And it also makes for really great lip gloss as well. So anyway, so this guy, he asked, what do you do to treat a man special? And that's what this video is about, her response. Let me ask some of you ladies out there, what is it that you would do to treat a man special? I want you to think about that. This young lady said one word. One word. Do you know what that word was? Do you know what the word was? Take a guess, take a guess, take a guess. Head. How do you treat a man special? She was like, shoot, some head, right? And so this conversation over here was like, and the guy that we were talking to, he was like, what's that now? What's that? Right? And the other guy was like, yeah, and they started high-fiving one another, right? Now, then what ended up happening is all of the attention now went on to this one young lady as she then went into talking about sucking D. Okay. Now, this was very interesting, and I think about society at large and society as a whole. And I think about the dynamic that existed. I think they may have been more women than men there, maybe like two more women than men. I'm not really sure. I think it was me, this girl, and this guy. So there were 3 guys and there were about 4 or 5 girls, right? So then at this point, all 3 of the men were like listening on, and one of the guys stayed stuck to her like the whole night, and then one of the other guys. So anyway, this is what I wanted to talk about, and I wanted to talk about this problem that we as women have, and I want to know, and I want to ask you guys, are things getting better with this attitude that we've adopted? Because then what ended up happening is the men were like, SHIT, yeah, ends is simple. Just give us some head and some beer and leave us alone, and we're good. Here we go. I'm going to bring out my board. Okay. So let's talk about this right now. Let's talk about, what do men like? Okay. We know that off the cuff, and first of all, let's talk about it. Men said it, they're very simple. So off the cuff, what if I asked you guys before you even saw the board, if I asked you guys what is it that men like, right? What would you say? Right? Of course, it would have something to do with these 3 things. So men like sex, men like food, and men like freedom. So what ended up happening is, in this situation, because there were more women than men, this how do I put this? I don't want to say my shoulders. I don't want to say she annihilated the competition, because we weren't competition. I wasn't interested in the guys like that. I was just having conversation. But I could say, I mean, if we were, I don't know if any of the other girls were interested in these guys, but if we were competition, her sex talk annihilated the competition, and she ended up getting rewarded, and she ended up getting rewarded, she ended up getting attention, and she ended up getting accolades for having sexual conversation and talking about what it is that she does sexually. And I started thinking about how this dynamic of this mental, this feeling of dearth, or this feeling of lack, and how it has changed the dynamic of dating in present day. And I wanted to talk about some of the, I want to find my red marker, but I should have done that before I started the video, because I'm not going to take any time to do that now. So let's just talk. I want to talk about, okay, so men like sex. So what's ended up happening is, in order for a woman to stand out above the rest, this has a lot to do with the way things are going on. The fact that women are going to the nightclubs half naked. First it started out with short skirts. No, first it started out with tight pants and high heels. Then that wasn't enough. Then it was, tight skirts and high heels. Then short tight skirts. Then short tight poom poom shorts with booty cheeks hanging out. Now women are going to the nightclub with their breasts showing. Listen, I'm sure you've seen it. The clothes are scantily on them, and the thing is that they're being rewarded with attention. It's like, it's not like this is not working, but is it really working, and to what end? And those are the people who are going out who want to get attention. And you know what? It's like I feel like we as women, we don't really know and understand our own worth. So that we think that we have to do these things, jump through these hoops, be little show ponies, little show poodles or whatever, in order to get a man's attention. But let's talk about some of these things, right? So, okay, so men like sex. So what ended up happening is, first, okay, so women started giving up sex easily. So here we go, sex easy. Be like, oh my goodness. And you know what? And I have girls who write to me and they're like, oh, I really like this guy. I don't want him to leave me for someone else. So should I have sex? And then what ended up, listen, 3 weeks used to be a short time before. Now we got people talking about it's a long time if she makes him wait a week. Some of these men are having sex on the first night with these girls. And I'm like, we've already talked. This is so dangerous and so destructive. So first, the sex started coming easy. It went from 3 weeks to the first night. So much so that some men out there saying, if you don't do it on the first night, I don't think you're interested in me, or I'm not interested in you. So then here we go. First it came easy. Then it came, let's see, then it came, let's see, unprotected. Then after unprotected, it became freaky. So that we have women contorting themselves. Listen, let's talk about, no. Let's get to number 2 first, unprotected sex. Oh, Lord have mercy. Listen, I read this article a few years ago, and the article brought tears to my eyes. And I did a video right after I read the article, because I was like, this is devastating. In the article, it was talking about women, and it was talking about AIDS in the Black community, and the interviewer had interviewed some women who had contracted HIV, and it asked them what the hell was going on. Listen to what's happening. Remember, we talked about how do you make a man feel special? First, they wanted to make the man feel special by giving it up quicker and quicker. But does that make it special? No, that actually makes it cheap, makes it everything but special. So then, unprotected sex, they interviewed the ladies in the article, and the ladies were like, the reason they're having unprotected sex is because they want to make that man feel special. Honey, you're gambling with your life to make him feel special. And what's ending up happening is your life, listen, your life is not seeming special. Listen to what I'm saying. Hear me. Listen. They're having unprotected sex to make this man feel special, but who is this man? You're in your mind, you're saying, oh, I'm going to give him something that he's never had before. I'm going to lay my life on the line to show him that I trust him and that I give him this sex with my life. And honey, I don't know if that's a good gamble. Think about it. You only got one life, baby. One life. And while you're jumping through these hoops like a little show pony to show this man that you think he's quote unquote special, you're putting your life on the line. You're not getting these tests. How special is a person supposed to feel? He doesn't know if you do that for everyone. So no, it's not coming off as special. It's coming off as anything but. It's coming off as cheap. It's coming off as tawdry. And it's coming off as dirty. You're coming off as dirty. Let me tell you guys this one little story. When I lived in Harlem, I met this guy at we spent, and we're still friends to this day. We spent a lot of time talking at this club, and he wanted to party hop, right? He's a married guy and everything, right? But he wanted to party hop, and I didn't know him. Right now, you have to use your instincts before you hang out or go anywhere with anybody. I didn't know him, and he seemed like a cool person. But before I got in his car, I took a picture of his license plate. I asked him for his ID. I took the number off his driver's license and I texted a picture of his license and I text not a picture of his license. I text a picture of his license number and his license plate to my sister, letting my sister know this is who I was out with and this is where I'm going. That's what I did. And when he saw that, he felt that I was a person who valued my life. He didn't say, oh, what's wrong with this B? You ain't getting in my car. F you. He didn't say that. He said, wow, you know what? I wish when my daughters grow up that my daughters will do that too. And I really respect you. That's what he said to me. And we are friends to this day. To this day. And that was, 3 years ago? So this is what I'm saying. Ladies, if you are not even so much as getting an STD test before you're letting this man run up in you raw, I'm sorry, there's no polite way to put it. Before you're letting this man run up in you raw, if you're not even so much as getting, listen, some of you not even asking for ID, so that if worse comes to worse, you don't even know where to find this man. If you go to the clinic and you have something, you don't even know where to find dude. You don't even know if the name that he gave you is real. Let me tell you something. That's not special. It's dangerous, and it's reckless, and it's cheap. That's what it is. You know what? Oh yeah, somebody said that in my video when I speak like this, I speak out of hate and not out of love. Let me tell you something. I'm making this video out of love. And sometimes you need to hear the truth. If you think what I'm saying is not said out of love, you need to wake up. Because that person who's telling you, oh yeah, go ahead, let me run up in it raw, who's talking to you all nice and sweet and letting you endanger your life, that's not love. This right here is love. Know this person, get this person tested. Let's move on to the next one. Then we got freaky. I got girls writing to me, girls who are running all around, spending all sorts of money on all types of lingerie, letting men bust nuts in their butt. Listen, let me calm down. Ladies, some of you are out there giving husband type sex to men who won't even give you a commitment. Do you think that this is making you seem special? I get contacted by so many women who are bending over backwards looking for new ways to trick off. First it was the lingerie, then it was anal. I got girls writing to me contemplating getting into threesomes. They don't want to be in, they're not attracted to women, they don't want to be in threesomes. They're thinking about getting into threesomes and having all types of freaky type of sex that happens in a long-term committed relationship once you guys have been together so long that you've done everything under the sun. Is that special? Is this special? We got girls bending over backwards trying to figure out new ways to freak him and wondering, oh, why isn't he giving me a commitment? Oh, if I just freak him hard enough, then he'll be mine. The man said he didn't want a girl, but maybe if I let him bunk me in the butt, then he'll be like, oh yeah, this girl is special because she let me butt F her. Really? You think he's going to be like, oh, this girl is so precious because she let me come in her butt? Come on. I'm sorry. This is actually doing the opposite. Think about it. Think about it. You're over here giving husband sex to someone who is not even committed to be your boyfriend? Not even a fiance or a husband. You're giving, listen, I'm sorry. Oh, let's move on because we got a lot more to cover. Then we got food on the list. Ah, this is a tricky one. Where did I drop my pen? Lord, my pen is gone. Oh, here it is. We got food on the list. Okay, so this says house and cooking on there. What's ended up happening is, okay, so women know that men like food. So what's ended up happening is, instead of going through the natural dating process in which you guys get to know one another, people ask me, why should men pay for the first few dates or the first series of dates? It's to get access to your home so that he can get private access to you, get to know you, find out more about you on the date. But what's ending up happening is women inviting these men into their homes. This is one of the big mistakes I've learned. Oh, this is about the 3 mistakes here. Big mistake I learned is letting somebody into your house too soon. The dating ends. Men have 2 modes. Capture. After capture, what is there? Because men have 2 modes, capture and coast. Is it? Once they capture you, then they start coasting. You let them into your house, you take away all of the fun activities you could have been doing to get to know one another. Once he gets in there, some men just sit up in there. Don't leave. You don't ever go out anymore. Dating, now you're jumping over, bending over backwards. Now look. Food, now you're paying for the food, you're paying for the electricity, you're paying for the gas, and you're paying for the room and board to keep this man under your roof, to feed him. And you're doing all the cooking. So now instead of enjoying the feast and the meal of others where you can just sit back and get to know this man, now you're slaving over him. This is, listen, everybody does it a different way. I know how to cook, but listen, honey, cooking, listen, I don't cook for just anybody, and I definitely don't start cooking too soon. I don't let people into my home too soon. You have to get to know people. If you ain't never seen a piece of ID and they know where you live, this is a big problem. So let's go on to freedom. Oh, this is a big messy one here. Freedom. Why is this a problem? Because freedom for some people equals no. Why am I writing with my left hand? I didn't even know I was ambidextrous, but I guess I am now. No commit. How long have I been writing with my left hand? Is this the first time? No commitment. No commitment. That's what this freedom is turning into. So what we're ending up with now is we're ending up with a situation with men who are getting off scot-free. They're getting all this easy, unprotected, freaky husband type sex, cooking, house cleaning, and someplace to stay. And they're getting the freedom of not having to have any commitment. And why? All for what? What is it gaining us at the end, ladies? What is it when we wake up and when we look up from this? What is it that we have? We never required anything. Here, let me take this away. Oh yeah, you know what? 5 years of making videos, I finally got a stand that's a new one. Look, so it's not broken anymore. Somebody said they wanted me to make a compilation video of all the times my board fell down on me, but this time my board is up. You know what? I should look for all the videos where my board did fell down. It'd be too many. So anyway, let's finish up. Let's finish up the video because the last one is money, and I want to talk about that. And it makes me so sad. And you know what? I don't have a real opinion on this because I think that this is a problem that exists. I don't know if this only exists in the Black community. I really don't know. I don't know if it's like this in Latin America. I don't know if it's like this in England. I don't know if it's just like this in America. I don't know if Caucasians have to deal with this. But I know as a Black woman that there is this idea that Black men, that good Black men are in such high demand that a woman has to differentiate herself from the competition, like that girl talking about BJ's in the bar. And then all of the men started flocking around her. One would not let him out of her sight. I hope they had a chance to have become friends, you know. But it's like it seems like, the ladies talk to me, it seems like in order to get, you know, the attention, in order to get the time, in order to be recognized, that you have to do these things, that you have to jump through these hoops, that you got to give up that freaky husband sex and all of that. But is it getting you where you need to be? Remember, I was talking about my hair, cut down on the number of men who were trying to get at me for a certain something. Ladies, if you stopped giving up easy sex, number one, unprotected sex needs to be off the table anyway. Freaky husband sex and letting him into your house, paying for the food and the cooking and letting him lay up in there without having to take you out. And then worst of all, with no commitment. Is that actually helping you? Are you getting to where it is that you want to be? Are you getting the commitment out of this person that way? And to what end? You know, it's like if you stopped doing that, would you be able to weed out the people who were not interested in you for more than that? Let me tell you, I spent my 20s celibate. I abstained from intercourse. And there isn't a man out there that can say that I did not. And I'm saying this in a video where thousands of people will watch it. I spent my 20s abstinent, celibate. Nobody got inside there. And you know what ended up happening? A lot of people came in my life and a lot of people went out of my life even quicker. You know, it was like when I was my 20s, I decided to put it on shutdown because, like I said, my mother died when I was 19. I did not know what signs to look for in a man who really cared about me. Where is my book? Here we go. You know what? I want you guys... My book, Lessons from a Motherless Child. 10 most crucial secrets about love, sex, and self-esteem I learned the hard way so that you don't have to. So let me tell you what my years of research in my 20s taught me. I learned the difference between a person who was there for the moment and a person who wanted to live moments with me. Do you know what I mean? I found out the difference between those who were passing through and those who wanted to stay. Because I did have relationships in my 20s. I did. And even though I did not go to the next round of saying, okay, I'm going to let you inside of me, through trial and error, I figured out the difference between the way a man behaves when he really cares about you and when he just wants to get in. I learned the difference the hard way because there were some people who cared about me and who did care about me. But you know what? My father gave me the advice not to let anybody in. And you know, sex is not the worst thing that can happen to a young lady. But sex with the wrong person does not feel right. It doesn't feel right and it leaves you feeling empty. Sex with the right person fills you. Sex with the wrong person depletes you. And it sucks on your cipher and drains you. So I learned the hard way. I lost some potential mates from, you know, people who I dated for months. I'm telling you, nobody got in. nobody. It really didn't matter. No matter how long the relationship had gone on, it really did not matter. I was on lockdown, and that was all that I knew, and how to protect myself. Now, there were some people that if I could have done things, there was two men, if I could have done things over, once the relationship progressed to a certain point, I would have taken the next step. But I was arrested by my own fears of being used. Now, there were people who came in and they left out listen, this book is going to be in 3 different sections. The first section is on, the first volume is on self-esteem. I'm going to put the list for the mailing list. Go underneath the video, click on the list to be on the mailing list for when the self-esteem is going to be a manual about self-esteem. That's going to be published first, and then we're going to talk about love, and then we're going to talk about sex. Everything starts with self-esteem. And we're going to talk very candidly about sex. And that must be from my blue marker. Oh, I think it's on my finger. Listen, so we're going to talk candidly about sex. Get on the mailing list from my book. Cop that. The first volume is going to be published very soon. It's going to be a manual and workbooks for you to work through some of the issues that you have with self-esteem. I want it to be a really good book. I wanted to publish it the first week of January, but I'm still writing it and still working on the manual parts and the quizzes, etc. So that, not the quizzes, the workbook, so that you can work through some of the issues, so that you can come out after the book being a better person than you were before going in it. So get on the mailing list for that, because I want everybody to have ironclad, indestructible, waterproof, bulletproof self-esteem like I do. So anyway, so as I was saying, and I wanted to just implant this idea in your mind. Is it helping us? You know, according to evolutionary biologists and evolutionary psychologists, you know, now listen, let's think about it. Oh, let me bring the board back out, honeys. Let me bring this board back out. Okay, here we go. Okay. I'm so happy to have this new board now. All right, let's talk about it. If a man is able to get easy, unprotected, freaky sex, a place to stay, cooking, food, and freedom with no commitment, is there any reason for him to commit? Is there any reason for him to commit? In the Victorian era, when there was no sex before marriage, guess what? Men were getting married, because the benefits of marriage came with someone who would help you raise your children. Somebody, well, number one, if men wanted to have access to having children, they had to get married first, so that they can not only have someone to help them raise the children, so that they could get sex, so that they could get the house cooking and all of that other stuff. If they wanted to have children, nowadays men don't need to get married to have children. If they want to have children, they just pump one of them people having unprotected sex, pump them full of their kids, and then their legacy lives on. If men were not able to have their legacy live on unless they were married, they would get married. So women, are we really helping ourselves by engaging in these activities? He's already getting the husband sex. He's already getting all of that other stuff on the list. Is there any reason for him to commit when there's no requirement of him to do anything before he actually engages in all of these perks and benefits? Do you understand what I'm saying? And then on the worst part of it, now let's talk about money before I get off this video. I hate when I make that Popeye face. Listen, I got women writing to me who are taking care of men. Ooh, I'm going to say this, and I never, ever, 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 ever talk about what a real man is, because I'm not a man. So I don't get into that whole debate about what a real man is. There are a lot of different people out there. And I'm going to tell you this, and I'm going to make this statement irrefutably, and I want somebody to contest me, challenge me on this. A real man does not want a woman to take care of him financially. A real man. Listen to the operative word. Real man and want. There may be a situation in which it is necessary for the woman to take care of him, but a real man does not want her to. And if you get yourself into a situation with a man who wants, hear me, wants you to take care of him, he's not, oh honey, run. He's not a real man. I'm telling you, I've interviewed hundreds of men, and I am, as a human being, perplexed by this, because we know that women like being taken care of. We do. But every single man, even bum men, even men with no pot to piss in, even men with making minimum wage, did not feel comfortable with a woman taking her money and taking care of him. He didn't feel comfortable with it. Refute me on that. I want some real man to refute that. I want you to listen, either testify or make a testament against, please. I'm telling you, please, below, men, real man, they don't want it. They see women as, I don't know why, but every single man that I have, every single man who was about something, whether or not he had money or not, he for some reason he was working on getting into a place in his life where he could take care of his family. There are some men who will stay around for the perks or whatnot, but when all the dust settles and he's able to take care of himself, he leaves. Part of the reason that he leaves is the sheer embarrassment that he felt from being in a situation beforehand when he couldn't do better for himself, and you saw him when he was at his worst. We need to talk about that in a whole video. Listen, ladies, if you have a man who wants you to take care of him, run. Run, because he has been departed from his natural instincts as a man. And I don't know what other levels this person, I can't call him a man, this person will stoop to. I don't know what he'll do to you. So I have women out there who are in situations in which these men want them to take care of them, and I'm telling you, run. Because he may be in school, you guys may be a team, and then also, listen, some of you engaging in husband-wife activities and you don't have no husband-wife commitment. Don't take your resources and split them down the middle for you too, and he's not willing to split his life down the middle for you. Come on. If you guys are a cohesive team and a unit and you guys are working towards something, listen, make it legal. Okay, we're a team, make it legal. A team is a legal entity so that what's mine is yours and what's yours is mine. What's ended up happening is these women are splitting their resources down the middle, taking care of some big grown behind man. Let me get off this video. I don't know what more I need to say about that, but I hope you heard me here today. Ladies, I want to ask you a question. Is this benefiting us? What changes can we make as women? You know, and it's like it doesn't, and you know what the sad part about it is, it doesn't help us, you know, for one woman to go on a one woman celibacy crusade, you know, sitting there a martyr to the cause, you know, like I'm not gonna no whatever. You remember that time I told you guys about that guy who said he knew his wife was the one for him because she had waited 1.5 years before having sex with him? What's ending up happening is that's becoming so much of the norm that men are actually looking for the opposite when it's time for them to settle down. It's like when a man is really truly interested in a woman, he doesn't want to see her booty out there in the street. Even a little bit of shoulder may be too much. You know what I mean? So it's like, I'm I don't know what else to say about this. I've talked and talked and talked and talked. I hope that something that I've said makes sense. I want somebody to write some comments below. Because like I said, it doesn't make any sense for one woman to go on a one-woman celibacy crusade as a martyr to the cause. This is something that women need to do women-wide. Know our worth. Set some standards. Because like some people said, listen, if I don't have sex with him on the first night, somebody else will. And listen, if you're going to put yourself, you know what, as a business owner, you never want to play price wars with another company. Because somebody, listen, I remember, and some of you guys remember when I used to do the meetup. You remember that? There was this guy, during the last election, I had this meetup group. And we were going to go to DC for the inauguration, and I started doing this bus trip. And this guy started getting people from my bus trip because he had slashed his prices all the way down. And I was like, gosh. He was like a competitor of mine because we were rivals. Remember from the big breast thing got me kicked out of his thing. So anyway, yeah, so we were like rivals, and he was making this trip, and I was like, wow. I don't know how he's able to do it because I can't make the numbers work because to rent a bus is expensive, and then you have to have a certain number of people on there, and the prices that he was charging were so low, and he was offering t-shirts and free food too, a free meal and t-shirts and all this stuff on the bus. I had to cancel my trip. You know what ended up happening? This fool, yeah, I'm calling him a fool. He was a fool, and I hope he's learned from his lessons. The day before the inauguration, this fool had to cancel his trip. You know why? Because even he couldn't make the numbers work. So you never want to get into a price war with somebody. And when it comes to women, you never want to get into a war to see how cheap you can be. Like my products at TKO Skin, my products are quality. This is my coconut complexion polish right here. Look, this is the syrup that the vanilla has formed. It makes a layer. It's so beautiful, and it smells so fragrant. I use pure fresh vanilla beans, pure vanilla rum, handmade. The sugar is it's organic evaporated cane juice flown in from Brazil. I use virgin fresh coconut oil inside here and a coconut castile soap. I'm not trying to make a war on people with bargain basement. No, up your quality, up the benefits of yourself, of your product. If you're your product, rather than going for seeing who could be the cheapest, because believe me, honey, there'll always be somebody cheaper. Believe me, you don't want to get into that price war, because there's some people who will let folks run trains on them, do all sorts of stuff. Remember that, how they used to say, ain't no fun if the homies can't have some? Really? Listen, you don't want to get into a war of who can be the cheapest. Because there'll always be somebody who can out cheap you. Up your quality instead. Change who it is that you're trying to sell to. I don't go to flea markets trying to sell my product. I don't go to flea markets. I don't even go to the average expo anymore. I learned my lesson, because people going to the expo looking for cheap stuff. People might be going to the nightclub looking for cheap stuff too. You might need to start changing your circles, who you hang out with, where it is that you're advertising yourself for a relationship. Honestly, because I done talked and talked. I wasn't planning on this video being this long, but I need comments below. And not only do I need comments, I need you guys to forward this video over to somebody who might need to hear it as well. Please forward the video. You know, it's like when we hear something that we wish could have helped us, let it help somebody else. I'm no longer in my 20s, and so I'm not in the position to have to be worried about a lot of the things that women in their 20s have to worry about. But please pass on my videos to people who may need to hear it. Let me hug you guys so I can get out of here. I love you guys. Go out there and love each other, but most importantly, what? Most importantly, love yourself. And that's what the first volume of my book is about. Self-esteem. You know what? Because if we had higher esteem as women, we wouldn't be doing those things. We wouldn't be trying to out cheapen ourselves, see who could be the cheapest. We wouldn't do that. We would know our worth, and we would wait for the right one. We would give ourselves to the right one, and we would have husband sex only with someone who is our husband. We over here producing all these children for these men, letting their legacy live on while they're out doing whatever. Nobody even knows they have children, and your life is severely hampered because you're taking care, you're their full-time babysitter for their child. They pump the child into you, and now you're their full-time babysitter while they're off doing whatever, and they're not supporting you. No one's come back and help you. You're their babysitter, you're taking care. And then if they have to pay a little bit of child support, they're so upset to have to pay child support because they think you're trying to beat them out of something. Meanwhile, they don't realize whether you give them money or not, the child still needs things. Children need food. How do we get onto this topic? Oh, listen, I love you guys very much. Let me give you my contact information. Come over to my page on Facebook. We're there temporarily on Facebook. I'm having somebody build my website. When you guys see my website, TonyaTko.com, is going to be amazing. TonyaTko.com is my website where you get my skin products, where you get to have beautiful natural skin like mine, where I don't have one foundation. I don't. Well, you can see from my skin, that's how my skin looks. It's beautiful. You know, I scrub my face with the polish more, so my face is more shiny, or more glowing rather. So I need to start scrubbing my body more because I like the glow my face has. But come over to this is actually what does that for me. TKO Skin. This is the complexion polish, and also the vitamin E. I put that on my face every morning. I've been testing out this anti-wrinkle thing that I'm inventing, and so that has me looking younger than I did 2 years ago when I was making videos. I look at some of my videos and I'm like, wow, Tonya, you're retroverting. But anyway, listen, I love you guys very much. I want you to think about everything that I've said in this video, and please leave your comment below. Follow up with me on Facebook. If you need advice, come over to my Facebook page and send me a message. You know, there's so many different, you can even contact me here on YouTube and send me a message. I'll post it on my Facebook page as inbox advice. All inbox advice is anonymous, so your identity is never revealed, and so you get your advice. I post it on a page and other people chime in on it, and you can read it even if you're not a member of Facebook. You can still read the advice. But let me get out of here. I love you guys very much. Do you love me too? I know you do. I know you do. And if you ever see me out in the street, please say hello to me. Why not? I'm human just like you. Okay, so TonyaTko, and I'm out. Peace.